The Grigori fallen angels or watchers of the Bible, the Book of Enoch, Book of Giants, and also Kebra Nagast, are not aliens as the Illuminati Freemasons and other NWO secret societies are falsely teaching, but spiritual beings. Quote, "This is what they call themselves in the Kebra Nagast, which also explains in full detail how they were able to defile themselves with flesh and blood beings." So what is this Kebra Nagast, or Book of the Glory of Kings? It's a collection of ancient manuscripts translated by EA Wallis Budge, who also translated many other ancient texts, including the Egyptian Book of the Dead, which is another fantastic and somewhat revealing read, if you have time for the 700 pages, that is. The Kebra Nagast is regarded by many Ethiopian Christians to be historically reliable. It contains a collection of ancient testimonies concerning many kings, including David and Solomon, what happened to the Ark of the Covenant during this period, and how it may have come to reside in Ethiopia after Menyelek I, son of King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba, transported it there from Jerusalem. It also includes manuscripts that go back as far as Genesis, including one concerning the angels who rebelled, chapter 100. According to this account, the fallen ones mocked Adam for his sin, but God says his creation will not be made a laughingstock to his enemies. So he tested these contentious angels by giving them flesh and blood and the heart of the children of men, arguing that they would do a lot worse, which is exactly what they did. The Book of Giants says they defiled themselves with everything, not just women, but all creatures as well, giving birth to a brood of monstrous beings, which included the giants known as Nephilim and Rephaim, like Goliath, whom King David defeated. In Greek and Roman mythology, they were known as titans or demigods, the offspring of false gods, which they weren't, of course, because these gods aren't real. They were the offspring of fallen angels, spiritual beings made flesh and blood by Almighty God, who tested them at their request. Yet they failed miserably. Chapter 100 of the Kebra Nagast settles once and for all this confusion over how it was possible for spiritual beings to physically defile themselves with mankind. But a covert cabal of deceivers of the Gaia.com ilk, which is riddled with demonic falsehoods and disinformation, as I've exposed before, have an agenda to change your understanding of end-time prophecy and reality, and have been doing their utmost to convince the world that extraterrestrials flying around in UFOs are real and can be found in Genesis chapter 6 and the book of Ezekiel. This is false and heretical, yet is perpetuated through the History Channel, which mendaciously ignores this very important book that reveals everything about these fallen ones. It is no accident that this has been omitted. If there are metallic objects flying around in the sky ever since the Hollywood hoax of the 1942 Battle of Los Angeles, then it should be pretty obvious to you by now who is responsible for this. The only things alien in this world are the monstrosities man and the fallen ones have created, with the exception of microorganisms piggybacking comets and polluting our atmosphere. One of the trumpet sounds of revelation I went over in my Wormwood video of 2015. Believing in this wicked, unbiblical lie is seriously dangerous and should not be taken lightly, because ultimately you shall perish. I've been through this before, but I can't stress it enough, which is why I'm going to read most of my highlights from this chapter again and put this matter to rest. Because I'm sick of hearing it. I'm sick of hearing unlearned, unchristian morons repeating this paradigm shift that angels are aliens. Yeah, we figured it out now. The prophets were confused. They couldn't understand what they were seeing. So presumptuous and arrogant. The angels aren't spiritual at all. They're physical like the rest of us and came from another planet. Seriously? You're going to repeat a bunch of morons who have been watching that nonsense and contradict the true word of God, which doesn't teach that. This is heresy and punishable. So I'll be very careful what you go around saying about my book, which you clearly haven't read, lest you be accursed for leading others astray. Oh, there's a UFO in Ezekiel. Says who? Says a person who hasn't even bothered to read Ezekiel. They'll read a book that says there are UFOs in Ezekiel, but they won't actually read Ezekiel. Oh no, it's too boring and monotonous for them, especially when it comes to keeping it in context with the rest, which they've clearly no intention of doing. Am I hitting a nerve yet? Are you going to keep contending that you know more than me about a book you haven't even bothered to read yet? Yes, I'll believe what Ike and that man with the crazy hair says, because they're real men of God, aren't they? Yeah, they're true theologians. I'll believe whatever they say about the Bible. God raptured his favoured prophets by whirlwind and chariots and horses of fire. Okay? These were supernatural encounters. There's nothing about UFOs. And if it was a disc of metal in the sky, then they would have said a disc of metal in the sky. They weren't stupid, you know. Are you calling the prophets of the Bible stupid? Are you calling the prophets of the Bible stupid? And a pillar of cloud by day and fire by night was not a cigar-shaped UFO, but a perfect description of a volcanic eruption, which is coincidentally where the Israelites ended up, on a mountain with thunder and lightning. And the three wise men, or magi, weren't stupid either, but astronomers. And the star that these astronomers said they followed was most likely a conjunction of Jupiter and Venus, not a UFO. That is an historical and scientific fact, and it signified the coming of the Messiah. It was a sign. Any toddler could tell you this, but for some strange reason, the adults now seem to have some difficulty understanding it since aliens came on the scene. Interesting that, because prior to Roswell, there isn't a single reported case of alien abduction in history. Wow, how unbelievably coincidental. You don't think the US government has something to do with that? They might be unidentified flying objects to you, but not to them, who are clearly responsible for this. Come on, let's get real here. In every case, there's a rational explanation far more reliable than aliens and UFOs. Jesus never mentioned them, and neither did other prophets. The only time an alien is mentioned in the Bible is when this word is used to describe foreigners, not extraterrestrials. However, Jesus did repeatedly warn to let no man deceive you. So here we go. The evidence in the Kebra Nagast, debunking it all, and closure of this false teaching that the fallen angels of Genesis are aliens of the 1940s. The Kebra Nagast, Book of the Glory of Kings, Translated by Sir EA Wallis Budge. Chapter 100, Concerning the Angels who Rebelled. And there were certain angels with whom God was wroth. Now he, the knower of the heart, knew them, and they reviled Adam, saying, Since God hath shown love to him, he hath set us to minister unto him. And the beasts and creeping things, and the fish of the sea, and the birds of the air, and all fruits, and the trees of the field, and the heavens and the earth also. And he hath appointed the heavens to give him rain, and the earth to give him fruits. And the sun and the moon also hath he given him, the sun to give him light by day, and the moon to give him light in the night season. He hath fashioned him with his fingers, and he hath created him in his own image. And he hath kissed him, and breathed upon him the spirit of life. And he saith unto him, My son, my firstborn, my beloved. And he hath set him in a garden to eat and enjoy himself, without sickness or suffering, and without toil or labour. But he hath commanded him not to eat from one tree. And being given all these things by God, Adam hath transgressed, and eaten of that tree, and he hath become hated and rejected. And God hath driven him out of the garden, and from that time Adam hath abandoned his hope, for he hath transgressed the commandment of his Creator. And God answered the angels who reviled Adam in this wise. And he said unto them, Why do ye revile Adam in this wise? For he is flesh and blood, and ashes and dust. And the angels answered and said unto him, May we declare before thee the sin of Adam? Why? This is the nature of these fallen ones, okay? They're troublemakers. They just want to get Adam into trouble, alright? It's childish behaviour, man. But this is what they say to God. God is well aware of Adam's sin without them having to declare it. They just want to get Adam in trouble. This is the nature of these fallen ones. They are childish troublemakers and are always jealous of man. And God said unto them, Declare ye his sin, and I will hearken unto you, and I myself will answer you in respect of Adam my servant. For God had worked on behalf of Adam, and God said, I created him out of the dust, and I will not cast away that which I have fashioned. I brought him forth out of non-existence, and I will not make my handiwork a laughingstock for his enemies. And those angels said, Praise be unto thee, O Lord, for thou, the knower of hearts, knowest that we have reviled Adam, because he hath transgressed thy commandment, that he was not to eat of one tree, after thou hadst made him lord over everything which thou hast created, and hadst set him over every work of thy hands. And if thou hadst not told him, and if thou hadst not commanded him not to eat of one tree, there would have been no offence on his part. And if he had eaten because of a lack of food, there would have been no offence on his part. But thy word made him to know, and thou didst say, As surely as thou eatest of this tree, thou shalt die. And he, after hearing this, made bold and ate. Thou didst not let him lack sweet fruits to eat from the garden, and thou didst not let him lack one to comfort him, and a companion like unto himself. And these things we say, and make known unto thee, and we have revealed unto thee how he hath transgressed thy commandment. We have revealed unto thee how he hath transgressed. Oh, you have you? Okay, yeah, God wasn't aware. It's ridiculous. And the merciful one, it's like the book of Job, okay, when Satan tries to get Job into trouble and God then tests Job. Similar thing going on here. However, in this case, it isn't Job who is tested, it isn't man, it is the angels. They get a taste of their own medicine. And the merciful one and the lover of mercy answered them on behalf of Adam, and said unto them, You have I created out of fire and air, with the one intent that ye should praise me. Him have I created of twice as many elements as you, of dust and water, and of wind and fire. There we go. This is where we get this differentiation between the angels and man. The angels are made from fire and air, whereas man, God created of fire, air, dust and water. And he became a being of flesh and blood. And in him are 10 thoughts or intentions, 5 good and 5 bad. And if his heart inciteth him to good, he walketh with good intent. And if the devil seduceth him, he walketh with him on evil path. As for you, ye have no other object in your minds but praise of me, with the exception of that arrogant one who produced evil and became an evil being, and was driven forth from your assembly. And now, why do ye magnify yourselves over Adam? If ye were as he is, and I had created you of water and dust, ye would have been flesh and blood. But they aren't. Okay? And ye would have transgressed my commandment more than he hath done, and denied my word. And the angels said unto him, Praise be unto thee, O Lord, far be it from us. We will not transgress thy commandment, and we will not oppose thy word, for we are spiritual beings. Not aliens. And they're not physical either. Until God puts them to the test. We are spiritual beings for life, and he is a creature of dust, doomed to folly. And now try as well and put us to the test, so that thou mayest know whether we are able to keep thy word. And when they had vaunted themselves in this manner, God, the lover of men, said unto them, If now ye go astray so far as this in transgressing my word, the wrong will be upon your own heads. For Jahannam, and fire, and sulphur, and fervent heat, and whirlwind, shall be your habitation until the great day. Ye shall be kept in chains which can neither be loosened nor broken forever. But if ye keep truly my word, and ye do my commandment, ye shall sit upon my right hand and upon my left. For every one who hath conquered is mighty, and he who is conquered shall be overpowered. Now Satan hath no power whatsoever, for he hath only what he maketh to germinate in the mind. Deceit, fear. This is the only thing Satan can do. He has no power. Only that over your mind, if you let him. And he cannot grasp firmly, and he cannot perform anything, and he cannot beat, and he cannot drag, and he cannot seize, and he cannot fight. He can only make thoughts to germinate silently in the mind. And him who is caught by the evil mind he prepareth for destruction. And if a man hath conquered the evil mind, he findeth grace, and hath a reward which is everlasting. And to you, according to what ye wish, there shall be upon you the mind of a man, and the body of a man. But take good heed to yourselves that ye transgress not my word, and break not my commandment, and defile not ye yourselves with eating, or drinking, or fornication, or with any other thing whatsoever, and transgress ye not my word. So here we go. This is where God makes them physical entities as a test, okay? And straightway there were given unto them with his word flesh and blood, and a heart of the children of men. And they were content to leave the height of heaven, and they came down to earth, to the folly of the dancing of the children of Cain, with all their work of the artisan, which they had made in the folly of their fornication, and to their singings, which they accompanied with the tambourine, and the flutes, and the pipes, and much shouting, and loud cries of joy, and noisy songs. And the men did not restrain themselves for a moment, but they took to wife from among the women those whom they had chosen, and committed sin with them. For God hath no resting place in the hearts of the arrogant and those who revile, but he abideth in the hearts of the humble and those who are sincere. And he spake in the gospel, saying, Woe be unto those who make themselves righteous, and despise their neighbours. And again he saith, God loveth the humble, and he holdeth lightly those who magnify themselves. And straightway God was wroth with them, and he bound them in the terror of Sheol until the day of redemption. As the apostle saith, he treated his angels with severity. He spared them not, but made them to dwell in a state of judgment, and they were fettered until the great day. The word of God conquered, who had fashioned Adam in his likeness or form, and those who had reviled and made a laughingstock of Adam were conquered. And the daughters of Cain, with whom the angels had companied, conceived. This is where it gets quite gruesome, actually. This is the birth of the Nephilim that we hear about in Genesis chapter 6. And the daughters of Cain, with whom the angels had companied, conceived, but they were unable to bring forth their children, and they died. And of the children who were in their wombs, some died, and some came forth, having split open the bellies of their mothers. They came forth by their navels. Sounds a bit like something out of Alien, the movie, but they aren't aliens, okay? And when they were grown up and reached man's estate, they became giants, whose height reached unto the clouds, and for their sakes and the sakes of sinners the wrath of God became quiet. And he said, My spirit shall only rest on them for 120 years, and I will destroy them with the waters of the flood. There we go then. It says in the Kebra Nagast, for God brought a flood to destroy these fallen ones, the offspring of them, these monsters. But most importantly, we are spiritual beings. Case closed. History of alien abduction claims. Such claims came to international prominence in the 1950s and 60s.